In 2018, I had a mental breakdown. So I'd achieved everything that I wanted in life. I graduated from a top university. I'd just been accepted into my first professional engineering role. And one night, I was out having a good time drinking with my mates. And when I got home, oddly enough, when I was in my room alone, I broke down and I just started to cry. And I found it really weird because if you check my social media stories from that night, I was having a good time. You couldn't tell that I was sad. Like I was laughing, drinking, having a good time with my mates. So I was very confused. Like why was I sad? And if you're watching this video, then chances are you've probably watched a lot of other social media related videos. And one of the big things that they talk about is the highlight reel, how the highlight reel of other people affects your mental health because you're comparing your normal everyday life with the highlight reel of other people's lives. But from this experience, I've come to realize that it wasn't the highlight reel of other people that really affected me. It was actually my own highlight reel which affected me. And why is that? And it's because that I was deceiving myself. So every time that I had feelings of depression or anxiety, I would turn to social media and I would post something that shows that I'm happy and having a good time or achieving things like, university accomplishments and getting a new job, weight loss and things like that. So I think in some odd way, I was trying to override my internal feelings through the expression to the outside world that I was happy, if that makes sense. So I was basically lying to myself, and I believe that this is the reason for my neurosis or my mental breakdown. So normally a healthy way to address your depression and your anxieties is to see a therapist. And what does a therapist do? They would make you walk through your emotions and to address the thing that's making you feel these feelings of depression and anxiety. And I was basically running away from it and using social media as a tool to help me escape. Also, another reason why social media affected me is because it conditioned me to seek validation from the outside world and not from within. So for instance, even the degree that I chose, engineering, why did I choose engineering? I chose engineering because everybody would say, oh wow, if you do engineering, you're smart. And I chose it because I wanted to be a somebody to the world. I didn't even for a moment think, is this what I really want to do? I chose it solely off what I think other people are going to think of me once I become an engineer. And throughout studying engineering, like all the late nights and skipping parties, because it was quite a difficult degree, I was thinking to myself at that moment of graduation, where I get my graduation photo done so I can post it on social media, and finally I'm gonna reach that point where I'm a somebody and show it to the world. So anyway, following my mental breakdown, a weird thing happened. I started to use social media less and less. For some reason, I don't know if it was my intuition, and I'm glad that I did, because in using social media less, I started to hear this inner voice within me. And this inner voice within me has always been there, but I've just shut it down with all these distractions. And one night I was going on a walk and I heard this inner voice within me say that I needed to go overseas to New Zealand. And not only that, but I needed to do this by myself. And this was an enormous thing because I've never done anything like this. I've always just followed the crowd and done what everyone else was doing. Solo travel was something that was completely out of the ordinary for me. Anyway, so I ended up listening to this voice, and then beginning of 2019, I decided to finally go to New Zealand. And there's a lot of things that happened, which I'm not going to cover everything in this video, but essentially what I did was I deleted my social media when I went. And also, for some reason, I had this thought that, okay, I'm going to promise myself that I'm not going to listen to any music as well. So I went on hour-long drives and hours of climbing mountains, and I had no distractions. And for once in my life, I was alone with my own thoughts. And there was one time where I was just up in the mountains, and I just realized, I found that there was something within me, I don't know what you want to call it, your inner self, your conscience, God, I don't know what you want to call it. And I found this part of me, I don't know how to describe it. But what I can say is that it was always there. It was always there for my whole life, and I've always just shut it down through distractions like social media. I don't know, someone said, there's this quote that how are you supposed to hear the voice of God if you keep yourself distracted? When you think about it in life, how often do we take the time to sit down alone with our own thoughts? We're always got distractions, TV, Netflix, YouTube, scrolling. How are we supposed to hear our intuition with all these distractions? Anyway, so now, I've been 4 years off social media and I've never looked back. I guess sometimes it does get a bit lonely because if you're off social media, you miss out on events and things like that. But to be honest, I don't have that many friends in general anyway. But I may not have many friends, I may feel lonely, but what I can say is that whatever that thing was, that inner voice that led me to New Zealand to find this other side of myself, you know, my inner self, my soul, whatever you want to call it, I believe that it's still with me. Sure, I can feel lonely, but I'm never truly alone. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching this video, and if you're thinking about deleting social media, I hope that this video was of value to you, and all I can say is that I definitely think it's worth it. There are pros and cons, but overall, you know, my mental health and spiritual health has never been better after deleting it, and yeah, I haven't looked back. So anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Peace.